Hello everybody, welcome to this video. Today we're going to be looking at my most played tank in game, which is the T-44-122. It is effectively a slightly less armoured T-44 but equipped with a 122mm deletion cannon at 6.3, the exact same battle rating as the T-44. The reason why this is my most played tank is this is what I grinded out my entire Russian tech tree with, and I've got well over 600 kills in it and like 400 deaths, so I would consider myself to be a veteran player of this tank, and that's why I know what I'm talking about. So today we are on Advance to the Rhine, which is coincidentally the map which you'll be seeing in both of the games which I'm going to show, and this is one of my favourite maps, I have to say. Sorry about the lag in the background, it's because I'm trying to record this on medium instead of on low graphics quality. And also I'm playing on a replay because I wasn't recording at the time, so my bad again. Hopefully in future I won't record in replays, but hey. So what I was saying was, this is one of my favourite maps in the game to play Russian tanks on, because you, for like 99.999% of the map, you are on completely flat terrain, so your absolute shit for gun depression won't affect you. Whereas if I'm in a British tank or an American tank, I'm a little bit peeved when I get this map. Well, I say that I'm not, this is actually my favourite map in game, but there are maps which are better suited to those different play styles. And this one is perfectly suited to the Russian Sukhoi, shoot anything that moves Russian meta, which I talked about in my last video. If you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. I know it's a bit of a long one, but hey, I think it was good. So a little bit about the T-44-122. It has a engine with 954 horsepower. It weighs just about 32 tons, therefore giving it a horsepower to ton ratio of 30, which is fantastic. You get a 122mm D25-44T cannon, which has 24 rounds, but I normally just take out 12. The ammo I use is the BR271B, not just the BR271. This has slightly more penetration and slightly less good normalization angles, but it still normalizes amazingly. Pardon me. I remember back in the day when this thing used to get the rounds of like 240mm of pen, and it was like ridiculous. You could just Shrek anything at your tier or above your tier. So the game I'm playing on at the moment, I think, is a 6.7 game. So I'm slightly worried about some of the 6.7 British tanks which I could be facing. I'm not sure if I'm in a game with Britain, but the 6.7 Britain is bloody scary. I think this might have been just against Germany. So here I see the Tiger 2P, he's looking away from me, so I get a shot into his turret cheek and take out his gunner and cannon breech. Then I try and move into the cap point. The Tonk blocks me, so I get shot in the side of the turret, and because I get shot in the side of the turret, I know there's someone behind me, so I push up to where the Tiger can see me, but where the thing behind me, which is coincidentally another Tiger, can't see me. At least that's what I thought, but he gets a shot into my transmission and immobilises me. So at this point, the Tiger 2 starts to regain its gunner, and it begins to spray its MGs here, and just begins to turn its turret there. So at this point in the game, I was like, shit, he's going to absolutely just destroy me. But I knew I'd taken out his breach, so he'd probably just repaired that, and he was probably still reloading, and I was just prepared to die at this point, but I wanted to get the capture zone, and thank God for teammates. Some of the CAS comes in and absolutely saves my ass. I think it was a French F6F, if I remember right. So here a Waffenträger is pushing up to try and get a shot into me. Well, I don't think he was. I think he was pushing up to capture his B point, and he didn't see me until he had got just around the train cart. And luckily for me, he didn't realise I wasn't reloaded, because this thing gets a 30-second reload rate, whether I have a completely aced 150 level crew for this thing. So my reload is at 23.3 seconds, which isn't half bad. So he's holding down this corner quite effectively, so I'm thinking, what can I do here? So I decided to try and push back around to this side, see if he was still looking where I was, when I get shot in the side of a turret, which luckily bounces by a Panther. And I still wasn't reloaded yet until then, so I was holding down my mouse button, looking over a front plate. And that is something you should bear in mind when you're playing this tank. You can just frontally ripperoni on Panthers. And Tiger 2s actually, if you shoot their turret or lower plate. So here the Waffenträger is pushing up to try and get a line of sight on me, but I've got a alright reverse gear, so I get out of there luckily in time. And by now I'd reloaded and I thought, screw it, I'll just risk it for the biscuit. Get a shot into him, he misses his shot, set him on fire, and I think he was stuck because he just jays out immediately after this. Boom, there he goes. So now I'm back on my B point, and I can see there's a bit of fighting going on by the A point. I've been saying point a lot in that sentence, but here we go now. I'm just moving down this street, trying to get eyes on the enemy. So I'm just driving around, not heading towards their spawn, I'm trying to flank around, and just at the corner of my screen, I can see that, oh my god, a tiger's coming out. So I get a lucky shot into his turret, take out his cannon breech, commander, and gunner. And when you're playing this tank, or any tank with a 122mm round, it is essential to know that the Tiger's turret is an absolute nightmare to go through. There's so many just different parts of layered armour that it is really quite RNG if you get through or not. So here, once I've reloaded my crew member, my reload rate goes right back up and I get back to my 23 seconds and manage to get a shot straight from his upper plate and just destroy his crew. He got deleted by that. When you're using this gun, you have 272 grams of TNT, which is it's a shit ton. Just over a kilogram. I can't speak. Just over a quarter of a kilogram, which, if it enters a tank, that tank's pretty much just ripperoni. So at this point of the game, I can see there is an SPA getting marked, which gets taken out, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just driving along here, trying to get onto the flank of the A point, see if I can get shots into it. And if you saw the tank in the background there, that's my teammate, but I've had to turn off I'll start that sentence again. I had to turn off all my markers in the replay, otherwise you can just see the end of minute ruins for fun, for me and for you. Sorry about that. So I managed to push onto the A point just in time to get a capture point, because in these battles I was grinding out for my T-44-122, which I have honestly just got today. So if you'd like to see a video on that, I've got some killer footage for that. I think I got like 7 kills in it, so if you'd like to see that, just give me a holler. And I cut out the ending of that battle because I really just got struck by an Astorn, and it was embarrassing. So here we are, back on Advanced of Orion, with my professional teammate pushing straight into the capture point, denying half the team any spawn points. Nice one. So I put some MGs in his side just to tell him that I'm a bit annoyed at him. When I say annoyed, it's bad etiquette. So I saw an M47 pushing up here, but he's now behind a train cart, but he pushes up even more, not sure why. So I get a shot into his turret ring cheek and take out his gunner and commander, I think. I can't remember which side the gunner's on the M47. But here, it's just like a bit of a I can't drive problem. But I'm going to do one of my favourite strategies, which I think you saw in the last game as well, on Advanced of Orion. I'm going to push up, once I've captured the C point, I'm going to push up through the park and hopefully catch the enemy off guard. So, most games, there won't be many people in here, maybe 1 or 2, which you can get some easy kills on, because they never expect you to come straight from the C point. And other games where there's no people, you can push up to the B point and, oh my god, you get so many kills there. Because most people don't look into the park, so they don't expect anyone to come up there. And I just see this Kenava, and he's harassing my Panther just to my right side, just off screen, you can't see him. I take a shot to the side of a turret, luckily it doesn't damage my breech or my gunner, and I manage to get a shot into his ammunition. I aimed between his crew compartment and ammunition just to make sure that one of them died, and, well, they both did, so, hey, yay me. So at this point, I'm just really looking for what shot me, because, you know, it's very rude. You shouldn't shoot people. Bad etiquette. But I can see there is a T-34 or T-29. Can't see his barrel tip, so I can't tell which one it is, but I think it was a T-34 if my memory serves me correctly. But of course I'm on the long ash reload because I'm missing 2 crew members, so it's only my gunner reloading an entire 122mm round, which poor guy, arm day every day. So I'm still reloading at this point, and I see he's looking away from me until he turns his turret to look at me, which really stopped me in my tracks. That was a great pun, wasn't it? Hope you guys enjoyed that one. So he turns his turret to the side again, and I'm able to get a shot into the side of his turret, which very luckily took him out, because most times when I'm fighting against those balanced tanks, I just, take out 1 or 2 crew members, even with a massive 122mm round. So at this point in the battle, I was feeling quite confident in myself, got a couple of kills, and I see the M47 who turned his side perfectly to me. I would have been able to kill him if I wasn't reloading like 1 round every minute here. Rip. So before I'm able to reload my round, he backs off and out of sight, and he gets taken out by someone else. So I still get the assist, which I wasn't too mad about because it was my fault for getting shot on the side. So really when I'm sitting here, I'm just counting on my reload because I've got my teammates on my left side and I've got some teammates on my right side, and I'm pretty sure the park is clear. I can't hear any other engine noises around me, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that. My thoughts at this point in the battle were to push up to the B point, try and capture it, maybe kill a couple of tonks, and move on to the next game, continue my grinding, yay me. While I'm on the topic, grinding is an absolute pain in the arse in Warfare. If you've got any suggestions or anything like that, make sure you leave them in the comments below for how you would fix grinding. I will, if I get enough support in this video, I will do a video on how to grind efficiently, best way of grinding, and how I would improve grinding if I were Gaijin. But I know not many people would watch that without support, so we'll see. As I said in the last clip, I was grinding out for my T-44-122, which I'm really happy with actually, it's a really good tank. Okay, back to this battle and stop being off topic. I'm being strafed by planes, so I'm pretty sure everything has my position, and I'm very, very nervous about my leftish side down that road, because I can see my Jagdpanther friend is getting shot in the back, and you can't see it in the chat because it's not in the chat of course, but a FV4202, which I recently did a video on, make sure you check that out, just put a shot in his back and destroyed him, and thinking he's invincible, he pushes out like a bit of a tit, and I get a shot into his lower plate, take out his driver and his gunner with the huge splash damage of this round. And I was thinking, do I push through the smoke, or do I wait, what do I do? Because I know once I've pushed through the smoke, he will be fully crewed back up. He may not be reloaded, but I didn't want to take that chance. So I decided my best course of action would be to flank around him entirely, using this tank's really, really good mobility. And ultimately, this is something you should try and do as much as you can, which is flanking. You've got a maximum speed of 60 kilometers an hour, which you'll hardly ever see. You can go around 35 on difficult terrain and 45 on concrete like this. So you are a really mobile tank, and you can get around enemies like the British, who, let's just say they're less than mobile. So unfortunately, just as I turn the corner, I scope in, and he drives off round the corner I'd just come from, which, Trex, I know. Trex, they should really just make this easier. He should have turned his back to me and just accepted his fate. So I'm not sure what's going through his head. He must have thought I had driven him off to somewhere else because he'd completely ignored me, but I pull up here and get a beautiful shot into the rear of his turret and take out the remainder of his crew. So now I was conscious that I was having a really alright battle. Not a great battle, but I was doing good. So I push up, capture the B point again, so get those extra research points in. Watching down this road because I can see there's lots of my teammates dying by the C point, and I don't fancy dying yet. Relatable, yep, no, we all want to die, don't we? But thankfully, my friendly takes out the Stridsvagen STRV-81 that was on the C point. So yay me, didn't need to deal with that, and as you can see, the C point stops getting capped, and my friendly begins to cap it, and I'm just going to try and rush in there as fast as I can to get those few extra research points. By the end of this battle, I had about 6,000 RP just from this game, and that's without me using a premium account, which is why this tank is one of the most efficient tanks in the game for grinding, in my opinion. I know it's a premium tank, but still, even for that, you get really good games quite consistently. So I pull up just in time to get in the cap point to capture it, and as I do that, the A point begins to get captured, so my plan here was to go back down this road, which, you know, I've only gone down this road about 2,000 times in this video, but go down here and turn right and go up the road to the B point. So I sort of had the feeling in this point in the game that there weren't that many enemies left, and it was really just, we were just on cleanup at this point. When I saw something explode over there, but it was just a friendly dropping bombs, I think, to try and gain a bit more speed. You will often face the Germans at your battle rating, which I'm a big fan of, actually, because you can frontally penetrate like literally anything you face. Like, honestly, you can. Panthers go through upper plate, you can overmatch the side of Panthers, and you can also overmatch the side of Tigers if you hit them in the 60mm zone. You can frontally penetrate Tiger 2s in their turret or their lower glaciers, take your pick. It's normally a one-shot if you shoot them in the turret, not really in the lower glaciers. But here I'm just going to push up to the A point, because I can see there's a little bit of contesting happened, not sure what the word is, but I get shot in my transmission, and then using this thing's amazing turret rotation speed of like 25 degrees per second, I'm able to just hold down my mouse button and boom, just delete the comet that shot me. He must have been pretty annoyed right there, because I would be. But he hasn't got such a bad reload, but anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and leave any comments down below for your opinions on this video, or what you'd like to see for the next video. Right, peace out, see you in the next one.